Reaching for the moon, the Apollo program. The Apollo program was one of the most ambitious and groundbreaking endeavors in human history, aiming to achieve what many thought was impossible. In the 1960s, a grand competition gripped the United States and the Soviet Union, the race to the moon. This was not just a race for space exploration, but a demonstration of technological and ideological superiority during the Cold War era. The United States launched the Apollo program, an ambitious endeavor to land humans on the lunar surface. This program was a direct response to the Soviet Union's early successes in space, including the launch of Sputnik and the first human in space, Yuri Gagarin. The goal was to demonstrate American technological prowess and inspire the world. President John F. Kennedy famously declared in 1961 that the United States would land a man on the moon and return him safely to Earth before the decade was out, setting a bold and clear objective for the nation. The Apollo program captured the imaginations of people everywhere, promising a new era of space exploration. It wasn't just about reaching the moon, it was about pushing the boundaries of what humanity could achieve, inspiring generations to dream big and aim high. The Apollo program involved thousands of engineers, scientists, and technicians, working tirelessly to design and build the most powerful rockets and spacecraft ever conceived. These dedicated individuals worked around the clock, overcoming countless technical challenges and setbacks to make the dream of lunar exploration a reality. At the heart of the program was the Saturn V rocket, a towering behemoth capable of hurling humans beyond Earth's gravity. Standing 363 feet tall, the Saturn V remains the most powerful rocket ever built, capable of generating 7.5 million pounds of thrust at launch. Atop this rocket sat the Apollo spacecraft, a marvel of engineering consisting of 3 main modules. Each module played a crucial role in the mission, working together seamlessly to ensure the astronauts' safety and success. The command module, shaped like a cone, housed the astronauts and served as their control center during the mission. This module was the only part of the spacecraft that would return to Earth, re-entering the atmosphere and splashing down in the ocean. The service module contained essential systems, including propulsion and life support. It provided the necessary power, oxygen, and water for the astronauts, as well as the propulsion needed to enter and exit lunar orbit. Finally, the lunar module, a spider-like craft, was designed to detach from the command module and descend to the moon's surface. This module was equipped with its own engines and landing gear, allowing it to touch down gently on the lunar surface and later return to the command module in orbit. The pinnacle of the Apollo program came on July 20, 1969, when Apollo 11 successfully landed on the moon. Astronauts Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin became the first humans to set foot on the lunar surface, with Armstrong famously declaring, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." The world watched in awe as the astronauts conducted experiments, collected samples, and planted the American flag on the moon. This historic achievement was a testament to human ingenuity, determination, and the spirit of exploration. The Apollo program continued with several more missions, each building on the successes of the previous ones. These missions expanded our understanding of the moon, tested new technologies, and demonstrated the feasibility of extended human presence in space. The legacy of the Apollo program lives on today, inspiring current and future generations of scientists, engineers, and explorers. The knowledge and experience gained from Apollo have paved the way for modern space missions and the ongoing quest to explore the cosmos. As we look to the future, programs like Artemis aim to return humans to the moon and establish a sustainable presence there. The spirit of Apollo continues to drive us forward, reminding us that with vision, dedication, and collaboration, we can achieve the extraordinary. A routine test turns tragic. January 27, 1967. January 27, 1967, began like any other day at Cape Kennedy, Florida. The sun rose over the horizon, casting a golden hue over the sprawling NASA facilities. Engineers and scientists bustled about, preparing for another day of groundbreaking work. The air was filled with a sense of purpose and anticipation, as the space race was in full swing, and every day brought humanity one step closer to the stars. The Apollo 1 crew, consisting of Virgil Gus Grissom, Edward White, and Roger Chaffee, prepared for a routine test inside their command module. These men were not just astronauts, they were pioneers, heroes who had dedicated their lives to exploring the unknown. They had trained rigorously for this mission, and their camaraderie and professionalism were evident as they suited up and prepared for the day's test. This test, known as a plugs-out test, was designed to simulate the countdown and launch sequence. It was a critical step in ensuring that every system and procedure was flawless before the actual mission. The test involved disconnecting the spacecraft from all ground support equipment, making it a true test of the spacecraft's self-sufficiency. The astronauts, strapped into their seats, communicated with mission control as they worked through the checklist. Each step was meticulously planned and executed, with the crew and ground control working in perfect harmony. The communication was clear and precise, a testament to the countless hours of training and preparation that had gone into this moment. The atmosphere inside the module was tense but focused, as the crew meticulously followed procedures. Every switch, every button, every readout was checked and double-checked. The astronauts were aware of the risks, but their confidence in their training and equipment was unwavering. They knew that their work was crucial to the success of the mission and the future of space exploration. Little did they know that this seemingly ordinary test would soon transform into an unimaginable tragedy. The calm and focused atmosphere would soon be shattered by a catastrophic event that no one could have foreseen. The crew's dedication and professionalism would be put to the ultimate test in the face of an impending disaster. As the countdown clock ticked down, a fire erupted inside the command module. It started as a small spark, but in the pure oxygen environment of the cabin, it quickly grew into a raging inferno. The crew's training had prepared them for many scenarios, but nothing could have prepared them for the speed and ferocity of the fire that now engulfed their spacecraft. The fire, fueled by the pure oxygen environment and flammable materials within the cabin, spread with terrifying speed. The intense heat and smoke filled the module within seconds, making it impossible for the astronauts to see or breathe. The situation was dire, and the crew's survival instincts kicked in as they fought to save themselves and their spacecraft. The astronauts, trapped inside their spacecraft, were engulfed in flames and smoke. Despite their best efforts, the fire was too intense, and the module's hatch, designed to be secure, proved impossible to open in time. The tragedy unfolded in a matter of moments, leaving the entire NASA community and the world in shock and mourning. The loss of Grissom, White, and Chaffee was a devastating blow, but their sacrifice would lead to critical changes in spacecraft design and safety protocols, ensuring that their legacy would live on in the continued pursuit of space exploration. Ignition, the spark that ignited a tragedy. The exact cause of the fire remains unknown. However, investigators believe that an electrical fault within the command module's complex wiring ignited a spark. This spark, in the presence of pure oxygen, quickly grew into an inferno. The oxygen-rich atmosphere, intended to simulate the conditions of space, acted like a blowtorch, intensifying the flames. The fire spread rapidly through the command module, consuming everything in its path. The astronauts, strapped into their seats, had little chance of escape. The intense heat and toxic smoke quickly filled the cabin, making survival impossible. The tragedy unfolded in a matter of seconds. The fire's intensity melted communication lines, cutting off the astronauts' desperate pleas for help. The world watched in horror as the Apollo 1 mission, once a symbol of hope and progress, became a chilling reminder of the inherent dangers of space exploration. Unraveling the tragedy, the investigation, and its findings. In the aftermath of the Apollo 1 fire, NASA immediately halted all manned spaceflights and launched a full-scale investigation. The tragedy had sent shockwaves through the entire organization, prompting a thorough and meticulous examination of every aspect of the mission. The goal was not only to understand what went wrong, but also to ensure that such a catastrophe would never occur again. A panel of experts, including engineers, scientists, and astronauts, meticulously examined the charred remains of the command module. They sifted through the wreckage, analyzing every piece of debris to uncover clues about the fire's origin and progression. This painstaking process involved countless hours of detailed inspection and analysis. Their goal was to determine the cause of the fire and prevent such a tragedy from ever happening again. Meetings were held daily, where investigators shared their findings and debated possible causes. The atmosphere was one of intense focus and determination, as everyone involved understood the gravity of their task. The investigation revealed a number of contributing factors that led to the disaster. Detailed reports were compiled, documenting every finding and observation. These reports were scrutinized by multiple teams to ensure accuracy and completeness. The use of a pure oxygen atmosphere inside the command module, while necessary for spaceflight, created a highly flammable environment. This decision, made to simplify the life support system and reduce weight, had inadvertently set the stage for a potential disaster. The presence of flammable materials within the cabin, such as Velcro and nylon netting, further exacerbated the fire's intensity. These materials, chosen for their utility and convenience, turned out to be highly combustible in the pure oxygen environment. The investigation also uncovered design flaws in the command module's hatch, which made it impossible for the astronauts to escape in the event of an emergency. The hatch, designed to open inward, was a critical point of failure. The hatch, designed to open inward, became jammed due to the pressure difference created by the fire. This design flaw meant that, in the critical moments when the astronauts needed to evacuate, they were trapped inside the burning module. The pressure from the fire made it impossible to open the hatch, sealing their fate. In response to these findings, NASA implemented a series of changes to improve safety. The hatch design was completely overhauled to ensure it could be opened quickly and easily in an emergency. New materials were tested and selected to reduce flammability, and the use of a pure oxygen atmosphere was re-evaluated. Training protocols for astronauts were also updated to include more rigorous emergency procedures. Simulations of potential disaster scenarios were conducted regularly to ensure that both astronauts and ground control teams were better prepared to handle emergencies. The findings of the investigation were made public in a detailed report, and NASA held a press conference to announce the changes being implemented. The agency's commitment to transparency and improvement helped to restore public confidence in the space program. With these new safety measures in place, NASA resumed manned spaceflights. The lessons learned from the Apollo 1 tragedy paved the way for future successes, ensuring that the sacrifices made by the Apollo 1 crew were not in vain. The space program continued to advance, driven by a renewed commitment to safety and excellence.